Howdy, folks. Thanks for tuning in for another cruise with Smooth. Last day of work this week. I know I hadn't been recording like I normally do through the work week. It's just I work a rather physical job, and I tell you what, taking 2 months off and then coming back in, I'm sore like a new hire at that place. Before I get into today's topic, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I appreciate y'all tuning in, I really do. So, I realized that I could dig myself a rather deep hole here in what I'm about to say, but I can tread carefully enough where I can say what I want to say without coming across as offensive. The other night, while I was at work, one of the things that I enjoy doing is I enjoy listening to the news, keeping up to speed on stuff, things like that. So anyway, I'm listening to the news and, tapping through videos on YouTube or auto playing, what have you. And CNN had on Greta Thunberg. I do not know how to pronounce her name. I apologize if I'm getting it wrong. Frankly, I don't get why she's a thing. I really don't. She started out, for those of you that don't know, as a climate activist. And you can be an activist for whatever you want to be an activist for. Not passing judgment. I might disagree with your science or your numbers or your conclusions, but being an activist, you do what you want if it makes you happy. So anyway, she went to, I forget which huge get together it was, but one like the G20 climate summits or something like that. I don't know, but she was basically yelling at all the adults for not taking climate change as seriously as she wanted them to. Interesting facts. All the developed Western world contributes in such a minuscule way to global greenhouse gas emissions compared to China and India. Developing countries are the biggest producers of greenhouse gases. The United States, which I believe has the highest per capita automobile ownership, highest per capita median income, produces 3% of the world's greenhouse gases, with India and China, and oddly enough, world's unmanaged waste or other pollution. China and India are the worst. Well, anyway, she gets on and yells at the entire Western world, "How dare you!" about us taking care of the climate and not doing it the way that she wants and taking it as serious as she wants. I think that green energy is coming, personally. I think that the days of the gasoline engine are numbered. I just don't think it's going to happen as fast as the climate change activists would like. And there's a plethora of reasons for that. I'll probably end up getting into at some point. But I don't think that you'll end up seeing 20-30% of cars on the road being EVs nationwide for a long time, for a lot of reasons. Well, anyway, Greta was on a CNN coronavirus panel last night via Skype or something. And first off, my opinion, and I could be wrong, I think that Greta's being abused or manipulated. Now, the reason being is she is a 17-year-old high school student in Sweden. And so if Sweden's laws on children or anything like the United States, her parents are subjecting her to all this while she's a student, which I just don't get why they would let their daughter trot all around the globe for interviews and speeches at summits and everything else to do what she does at her age. I don't see that being particularly healthy, because she's likely not setting herself up for realistic expectations, or her education could be suffering, or if nothing else, you're adding stress to a teenager's life in a time where they're stressing for, end of semester exams and whatnot, trying to graduate. I don't see that as being particularly healthy for a teenager. Another thing, and I am not mocking at all, it's sad, Greta Thunberg is on the autism spectrum. I've got a daughter diagnosed on the spectrum, not quite as bad as Greta. She's a little, my understanding of the spectrum, you've got like sensory processing, Asperger's, autism. I think my daughter's like 1 or 2 steps below Greta, and she copes fairly well most of the time. There are spectrum-like behaviors that my daughter has that you can watch for, and there's things that can definitely set her off a little bit, but she's learned over the years, she has learned to cope. For example, loud noises. Can't do loud noises, sustained loud noises, chaotic loud noises. Like, she loves loud music, but put her in a room full of 10, 15 people and they're all talking and they have to get loud to talk over each other kind of thing, she'll go put her noise canceling earmuffs on. Yeah. And when she was little, she couldn't handle Walmart without just screaming unless she had earmuffs on. So, she's gone through phases, but now she can handle it herself most of the time. Well, I don't see how a 17-year-old non-high school graduate autistic child, not shaming, not poking fun, just factual here, is a necessary voice to hear for anything. I mean, realistically, she can be passionate about something, but she's not going to be overly informed or a wealth of knowledge on it. I've always been passionate about cars. I've always thought cars were cool. Cars, trucks, anything with 4 wheels and a steering wheel that can go fast enough to do something silly, I'm all about it. So, However, when I was a kid, I had zero knowledge about cars. When I was 17, I had a little bit of knowledge about cars. I've learned a lot more. I work in an automobile manufacturing plant. So, I don't necessarily, like, passion, that's fine. You know, if she decides that she wants to go to college and get degrees and do studies and maybe try to save the planet other ways without shutting down the global economy, sure, fantastic. You found a passion. You'll never have to go to work a day in your life. That's great. But I don't think she's the end-all, be-all authority on climate change and coronavirus presently. And it's, in my opinion, the climate change left has trotted out the perfect mascot for climate change, because you can't say too much or they will just jump on you while you're picking fun at someone that has autism. No, I've got someone on the spectrum. I get it. I get their mannerisms and behavior a lot. A good buddy of mine's on the spectrum. 2 good buddies of mine are on the spectrum. So I understand the behaviors and the challenges that they personally face. I've seen it, and I can pick up on it on people quicker than some. One thing I have noticed about those on the spectrum is how obsessive they are about things. And so that's not surprising that Greta has found something that she's passionate about and decided to pursue it in the way that she is presently. But I don't think that it's particularly healthy or a great thing for everybody to listen to her. My opinion, I don't know. What's yours? I'd love to hear in the comments below. So, anyway, I reckon that's all for today. I'm going to jump off of here. I might record a little bit later on, but y'all stay safe.